While acknowledging the overarching cultural milieu of modernism within which influential thinkers operated, and while making reference to the impact of significant events such as wars, revolutions, or instances of political and economic strife, our primary focus will be placed on providing a comprehensive understanding of the overarching cultural landscape that characterized intellectual life in late 19th century Europe. This focus is crucial due to the profound impact that the discussions and dialogues of this era had on shaping the context within which intellectuals of the early 20th century would subsequently operate and engage. The intellectual landscape during the fin de siècle era serves as a captivating subject of exploration, encapsulating a continuous and dynamic discourse between two distinct camps of thought. On one hand, there were those who staunchly upheld a profound belief in the tenets of science, the prospects of modern progress, and the ideals of classical liberalism. These individuals championed the transformative power of scientific inquiry, embracing the idea that knowledge gained through empirical observation and rational analysis could illuminate the path towards societal betterment. Their faith in progress and classical liberal principles further underscored their conviction that human societies could evolve and flourish through the application of reason, individual rights, and free markets. On the other hand, there existed a group of thinkers who, while immersed in the same cultural milieu, harbored reservations and inquiries regarding the validity of these prevailing concepts. These skeptics brought a critical lens to the dominant paradigms of science, progress, and classical liberalism. Their perspective signaled the emergence of intellectual currents that questioned the assumptions underlying the prevailing faith in unbridled scientific advancement and the harmonious progression of societies. This counter-discourse introduced a layer of complexity to the intellectual climate, inviting deeper reflections on the consequences and limitations of unyielding faith in progress. The juxtaposition of these two ideological poles formed the foundation of intellectual exchanges during the fin de siècle era. The debates that ensued within this dynamic intellectual ecosystem laid the groundwork for the nuanced inquiries, critiques, and re-evaluations that would later shape the intellectual currents of the 20th century. In a sense, the rich and multifaceted interactions between believers and skeptics of established paradigms not only defined the intellectual spirit of the late 19th century, but also cast a lasting shadow that influenced the directions of thought in the subsequent century. The prevailing intellectual ethos within the ranks of the majority of intellectuals and educated individuals during this period prominently emphasized a resolute trust in the transformative power of science and the inexorable march of progress. This prevailing mindset bore testament to an era steeped in the convictions that scientific inquiry and its resultant knowledge were not only the cornerstones of societal advancement, but also the key to unlocking the mysteries of the natural world. The ethos of progress, entwined with the belief in science, manifested as a beacon of optimism that guided intellectual pursuits and societal aspirations alike. This pervasive mindset envisioned a trajectory where human ingenuity and scientific discovery would propel civilization toward greater enlightenment, prosperity, and overall well-being. However, amid the prevailing currents of unwavering faith in science and progress, a chorus of dissenting voices emerged from the realm of skeptical writers and critics. These contrarian voices, animated by a more critical disposition, cast a discerning eye on the prevailing paradigm and its underlying assumptions. Their intellectual endeavors were rooted in a questioning spirit, and their critiques probed the potential limitations unintended consequences and ethical implications of a worldview wholly anchored in scientific triumph and relentless advancement. These dissenting voices contributed to the emergence of alternative perspectives that would gain momentum throughout the 20th century, culminating in a profound impact on the intellectual discourse of the era. It is imperative to encapsulate not only the affirmative dimensions of Europe's contemporary scientific and liberal culture, but also to juxtapose them with the viewpoints offered by the critics. The cultural climate of the late 19th century witnessed the flourishing of scientific discoveries and technological innovations that bolstered the collective confidence in science's capacity to unravel the mysteries of the universe. This conviction in science was seamlessly interwoven with the principles of liberalism, encompassing democratic ideals, individual freedoms, and the promise of economic growth facilitated by free markets. Simultaneously, the dissenting perspectives offered an alternative lens through which to perceive these paradigms. Critics, acknowledging the remarkable progress brought about by science and liberalism, nevertheless sought to shed light on potential blind spots and unintended consequences. Their voices resonated with concerns regarding the ethical implications of scientific advancements, the potential for unchecked progress to lead to social inequalities, and the need to balance intellectual pursuits with a broader ethical compass. Prior to embarking on a focused exploration of the fin de siècle debate, it is crucial to provide a contextual framework that situates these themes within a broader sweep of historical evolution. This contextualization serves as a means to illuminate the historical underpinnings that paved the way for the rich intellectual discourse of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. By tracing the lineage of ideas and cultural dynamics, we gain a deeper appreciation of how the interplay between long-standing cultural traditions and contemporary exigencies influenced the intellectual currents of the time. This broader historical perspective acts as a guidepost, helping us navigate the complexities of the specific debates and discussions that shaped this pivotal epoch in European intellectual history. The contours of this debate resonate to a certain degree with the perennial tension that underlies the two foundational strands of thought within the rich tapestry of Western cultural heritage. These strands, like intertwined threads, have woven their intricate patterns through the annals of Western intellectual history, and the echoes of their interaction continue to reverberate in contemporary discourse. The annals of history have often portrayed Western civilization as an intricate mosaic, meticulously composed of two ancient cultural traditions that have exerted profound influence on the shaping of collective thought. These traditions stand as pillars upon which the edifice of Western intellectual inquiry has been erected. The first, embodied by the vibrant Greek culture that reached its zenith in the vibrant city of Athens, and the second, nurtured by the Hebrew culture that found its roots in the ancient lands of Palestine. The Greeks, ensconced in the intellectual prowess of their philosophers, forged an indelible connection with the very essence of reason. They championed the pursuit of knowledge guided by rational faculties and held in esteem the probing examination of the natural world, a pursuit exemplified in the intellectual legacy of luminaries such as Aristotle. While their contemplations often extended to the ethereal realm of gods and metaphysics, they remained equally captivated by the corporeal domain, elevating the human body and the tangible world to a place of fascination and intrigue. Conversely, the Hebrew cultural tapestry was intricately woven with the threads of monotheism, a concept that set them apart in their unwavering belief in a singular, omnipotent deity. Within the framework of this belief system, the Hebrews elevated the human capacity for communion with the divine, forging a profound connection between mortals and the divine realm. This connection found its expression in the insights of thinkers such as the prophets, who illuminated the intricate interplay between God and human history. In their narratives, the Hebrews did not solely recount the political narratives of the time or the deeds of individuals. Rather, they intertwined these accounts with a grander tapestry of divine influence, casting a guiding light on the interplay between the spiritual and the temporal. In the mosaic of their cultural narrative, the Hebrews allocated substantial space to spiritual matters that transcended the mundane and intersected with the realm of the divine. Their writings resound with echoes of divine forces, ethical imperatives, and moral directives that guide human behavior and offer insight into the deeper dimensions of existence. In broad strokes, the Greeks and the Hebrews steered their cultural vessels along distinct courses, each championing a unique avenue to truth. The Greeks, with their intellectual prowess, elevated reason to the position of compass, charting a course through the labyrinth of knowledge. On the other hand, the Hebrews navigated their quest for truth through the channel of divine revelation, embracing the sacred insights granted through their unwavering connection with the divine. These divergent pathways, while distinct, converged in their shared aspiration to apprehend the truth that lay beyond the realms of the ordinary, encapsulating the multifaceted nature of human inquiry and understanding. The historical trajectory of ancient thought culminated in a profound convergence within the hallowed halls of medieval Christianity. This convergence marked a transformative juncture where two prominent currents of intellectual inquiry, one stemming from Greek culture and the other from Hebrew heritage, this convergence marked a transformative juncture where two prominent currents of intellectual inquiry, one stemming from Greek culture and the other from Hebrew heritage, intertwined to shape the theological fabric of the Middle Ages. The legacy of this amalgamation found its embodiment in the eminent works of scholars like St. Thomas Aquinas. Through their rigorous exploration, these scholars boldly articulated a thesis that stood as a testament to the inherent compatibility of reason and faith. Aquinas and his contemporaries engaged in a monumental endeavor, contending that the rational principles espoused by Aristotle could find harmony alongside the spiritual tenets of divine revelations. In this synthesis, the seemingly disparate realms of reason and faith converged, forging a profound and harmonious understanding of reality. Within this harmonious synthesis, the very nature of human comprehension underwent a profound transformation. The notion that reason and faith could coexist and complement each other signaled a departure from the dualistic perspectives that had often characterized earlier intellectual traditions. Instead, Aquinas and his counterparts posited that reason and faith, while distinct in their modes of operation, were not mutually exclusive. They envisioned a landscape where the intricate workings of the human mind could navigate both the empirical and the transcendent, where reason's light and faith's beacon illuminated the path toward a profound understanding of existence. At the heart of this synthesis lay the conviction that the pursuit of truth was not confined to a single avenue. According to this perspective, the human intellect possessed the capacity to apprehend divine truths through reason and embrace spiritual insights through faith. This convergence of reason and faith spoke to a deeper unity that transcended the boundaries of conventional understanding, inviting individuals to explore the depths of knowledge through diverse yet harmonious lenses. In a sense, the works of Aquinas and his contemporaries encapsulated a profound realization. The intellectual currents that had flowed through the ages, woven from the threads of Greek and Hebrew thought, could culminate in a theological synthesis that celebrated the convergence of reason and revelation. This synthesis embodied a monumental testament to the enduring pursuit of truth that spanned across cultural boundaries and historical epochs, reflecting the dynamic and evolving nature of human inquiry. The resolute fusion of reason and revelation that marked the medieval epoch underwent a gradual erosion in the face of transformative historical forces. This evolution was spurred by a confluence of influential events, including the seismic impact of the Protestant Reformation, the paradigm shifting developments of the scientific revolution, and the intellectual enlightenment of the Enlightenment. In the wake of these epochal shifts, a growing contingent of intellectuals relinquished the long standing notion that theological discourse and divine revelations held the key to immutable truths. This shift in perspective gained traction, propelled by the ascendancy of a new scientific paradigm that proffered an enticing framework based on observable universal laws governing the natural world. The allure of this empirical approach was irresistible, promising not only a systematic understanding of the cosmos, but also a path toward dependable knowledge that transcended religious dogma.